Yo, what up, man? Chris, somebody checking back in, man. Back with the blog, man. Make sure that like button and subscribe button anyway, and I appreciate all the support. Oh, man, I'm in San Antonio right now. You see the sun, man. It's hot as fuck out here. I ain't gonna lie. Still hot out here in San Antonio. But I'm headed to South Carolina. So be there sometime next week, man. So salute to everybody. We do have some breaking news, man. Diddy was sentenced to 50 months. It's about 4 years. So he gets credit for 14 months time served. So I guess that leaves him with 36 months. You know what I'm saying? So what we looking at 3 years for him to continue serving or whatever. Federal court, you gotta do 85% of your time. So maybe he can shave a little bit of time off that, but for the most part, he's looking at around 3 years. So that's what's going on. There was a lot of things going on in court today, man. A lot of stuff going on. Obviously, Diddy wrote a letter. This is what he basically said in his letter. The scenes and images of me assaulting Cassie play over and over in my head daily. I literally lost my mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on a woman that I love. I'm sorry for that and always will be. We know Cassie wrote a letter also to the judge saying she's scared of her safety, saying that she had to move her family out of, I guess, New York or whatever. This was the most traumatic and horrifying chapter of her life. His defense attorney claimed that he is a changed man and he wants to mentor abusers. I know firsthand what that mentorship means, and that disgusts me. He is not being truthful. Basically what she said. I know that was who he was to me. He was a manipulator, the aggressor, the abuser, the trafficker. He is who he is as a human. So she had a lot to say. He has no interest in changing or becoming a better person. He will always be the same cruel, power-hungry, manipulative person that he's always been. A lot of people have been mixed on Cassie. A lot of people look at her and say, you know, she had a role in a lot of this. You know, she could have left at her own free will. Some people say that she was setting up some freak offs on her own. She was selecting certain male escorts on her own. There's a lot of text messages where she said that she initiated some freak offs where she was basically saying, I'm in the mood for, you know, in so many words, a freak off for the night. And obviously she got a lot of money, and it was money to probably silence her, and she ended up not being silenced because in federal court, I guess it don't matter if you try to pay hush money or pay money to kind of make something go away. They still can subpoena you and bring you to court. So she ended up testifying even though she got like $30 million from Diddy. So a lot of people look at her and say she was more complicit than people are letting on. I know about, you know, you could go through a whole lot mentally. He had a lot of hold over her career. He had a lot of hold over her music and a lot of hold over her her ability to maneuver and enjoy a lifestyle. So a lot of people look at it like there's a lot of coercion, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and he was being very manipulative. So people are kind of split on the Cassie situation. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm kind of torn on this situation. I know I said yesterday I thought he was going to get 4 or 5 years. The judge was being a little bit cruel today, you know what I'm saying? I thought the judge might try to throw like 7 or 8 years at him. I was really thinking that it was going to be that, the way it was starting off. But I think some things helped Diddy, and I'm about to tell you what they were. He's very lucky he had his kids speak for him in court today, because they said a lot of stuff. We know the prosecutors were seeking 11 years. His attorney was trying to get the 14 months time served. What Diddy said over the past year, there has been so many times I wanted to give up. There were days I thought I would be better off dead. The old me died in jail, and new version of me is reborn. He apologized and expressed how sincere he was for the hurt that he caused. I lost my way. I lost my journey. I lost myself in drugs and excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. This was part of the letter that he wrote. But one of the things that helped him, let me see if I can find it, was, I'm reading this article right here. Hold on. That Diddy's children delivered tearful pleas at sentencing. And some of this stuff they said was powerful, bro. I gotta be real. So Quincy took the stand. He was first. He said, we're going to love him through his struggles, But in front of you is a changed man. Our father will never do anything to jeopardize his freedom. I ask that you give my father a second chance at life, a second chance to right his wrongs. That was Quincy. Jesse Combs, who is one of the twins. We know he isn't perfect and he has made many mistakes. We aren't here to excuse him of any mistakes, but Your Honor, he is still our dad. We still need him present in our lives. The other twin, I guess Delilah, she broke down and crying, recalling the pain of losing her mother. We are scared of the thought of having our dad and mom not present in our lives. We are scared that our 2-year-old little sister that runs to us every night asking where daddy is, we cannot watch our baby sister grow up fatherless the same way we grew up motherless. I thought that was very, very powerful. We cannot watch our baby sister grow up fatherless the same way we had to grow up motherless. Chance, who is Diddy's oldest daughter, broke down crying. We are just daughters who need our father. My whole life, he has always taught me to... No, hold up. Oh, we are just daughters who need our father. Then Christian was like, my whole life, he always taught me how to treat women with respect. I've seen him treat my mom with respect and treat her like a queen. So these were all, I guess, 6 of Diddy's kids testifying. I thought that made a big deal because the way it was looking, you know what I'm saying, maybe 7 or 8 years. Maybe after hearing that, maybe the judge was a little bit more, a little bit more willing to go down on the time. This is what bothers me about this case. I got to be honest with you. The judge said that even though he was acquitted, the actions that led to that situation, you can still punish him despite being acquitted for some of the things that was done that even led to the acquittal. And I think that that's a very unfair thing. I know I'm not quoting it directly, but that's basically what he was saying. And it sounded like, okay, the prosecution can charge me with 10 crimes. I can get acquitted on 9. I can come to you with 1 charge, but you're still punishing me for the 9 that I got acquitted on by saying somehow we got to this in the first place. So they were basically blaming Diddy for the reason why we're here today. And I don't think that's right. I really don't. Like, I'm not saying Diddy don't have his faults, and I'm not saying those things, but to me, he never did a RICO. So the reason why we're in court today is because they tried to put a RICO on me. If they would have just charged me with crossing state lines with a prostitute, if they would have just charged me with what I actually did that they could just beyond a shadow of a doubt prove, maybe you give me a plea and maybe I take a year or something, whatever the plea would have been. I gotta fight in court, so we have to get here because you're overcharging me. I'm not gonna accept a RICO case that's putting me life in prison for something everybody is agreeing to do. Everybody is consensual about it. People are saying that Cassie and everybody wasn't distraught and Jane Doe and all this stuff. So, but you want to blame me for everything, give me 25 years. I gotta come in front of you and fight the case. You're not giving me any options. So I don't really, that's the thing about the criminal system, bro. It's very easy to get in this shit and hard to get out. They got so many loopholes, so many ways to be like, oh, we're going to get you on a lesser charge and we're going to plea it down to this and we're going to do this. And I feel like, okay, you want to overcharge me. You want to charge me all this shit in the beginning, right? You got to force me to have bond, make me look like I'm a terrible person, do all this stuff. I can't get bond. I got to sit in jail. You say, you stand in front of Your Honor and say, Your Honor, we feel like he did this, and this. We feel like he murdered this person, did this. Or RICO and did this sex thing and did da-da-da-da-da. You got all this stuff lined up. And then as the case goes on and you're unable to prove everything, you start trying to move the charges to lesser charges. Because sometimes within each charge, there are elements of a charge. So, for example, kidnapping is moving a person from point A to point B against their will. But an element of kidnapping is false imprisonment. And false imprisonment can be, I just didn't allow you to leave or something, or I stood in front of the door or some shit like that. That's what false imprisonment is. If I can't get you on the kidnapping, maybe I can get you on a false imprisonment. The problem I got with that in the way the law is, you didn't charge me with false imprisonment. You charged me with kidnapping, which might have been a $50,000 bond. I got to fight the kidnapping for 1 or 2 years while I'm in jail fighting the case. When you get to court and you start saying, well, folks, you're talking to the jury, he kidnapped this person. Even if you don't get him on the kidnapping, he at least false imprisoner. He at least false imprisoner. And it's like, dog, just charge me with false imprisonment. Why are you charging me with kidnapping? Why are you punishing me for a prosecution that overcharges? So when the judge comes in and says the reason why we're here, yeah, you might have got off on X, Y, and Z, but all of your actions, the hotel footage, the freak offs, the text messages, the saying I'm gonna leak sex tapes if you don't do what I do, all of this stuff got you here. Nah, it ain't what got me here. What got me here is y'all ran up in my house with some bogus ass charge and decide you want to throw a RICO on me. I ain't come here on my will. Y'all niggas put me here. Don't act like I came here knowingly. What got us here is the fact y'all overcharged me is what got us here. And there's no punishment for people overcharging. Excuse me. You can overcharge somebody and there's just no punishment. You can say all of these terrible things, but you don't got to stand on it. You do not have to stand on it. It's just like, oh, he's this, and this. And when you can't prove it, who is holding these prosecutors accountable for their actions? I feel like that's one of the big things in the criminal justice system I just don't agree with. So Diddy basically got punished a little bit. The judge even said it in court. He got punished a little bit over his even acquittal things. And let me tell you this. I don't know if a lot of y'all pay attention to this. And I thought about this when I was dealing with my sexual assault case. I thought about this when I used to sit in court all the time and think about it. I was like, yo, I'll never, ever, ever be looked at as not guilty. Ever, ever, bro. That's something I got to deal with my entire life. I deal with it now with y'all in battle rap. I deal with it with bloggers. And I deal with it even if I had went to trial and won trial. This is how crazy this shit is. And one trial, right? I would just have an acquittal. And in the United States, being acquitted does not mean you're not guilty. It just means I wasn't able to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In other countries, they have a guilty verdict and a not guilty verdict. So when they be like, yo, what does the jury think? We find a defendant not guilty, right? But the verdict is actually not guilty. The way they label you in the United States, Diddy was acquitted of RICO charges. They don't view him as not guilty. The judge said it today, damn near. Even though you were acquitted, I can still punish you for even some of your acquittal offenses because that's how we got here. See the loophole? They don't even look at you as if you are innocent of what you were acquitted of. And that's the thing about the criminal justice system. And I was thinking about that when I was locked up. I was like, even when you win trial, they just say you're acquitted. I would have been acquitted of sexual assault. To a lot of people, I still would have been guilty. Or they would have been like, well, they just didn't find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the only reason why they had to acquit him. No, I was innocent. But in the United States, it's like you don't get a chance, a jury don't get a chance to get up there and say, Your Honor, what do we think of this? He's innocent. And stamp you as innocent. No, they just stamp you as not guilty and it's labeled as an acquittal, which is we just couldn't find beyond a reasonable doubt that you were guilty. And that's a crazy thing. And if I'm gonna use your acquittal to punish you, I just don't agree with that shit, bro. I'm not gonna go crazy over the 4 years. If he had got 6 or 7 or whatever, I would have been like, okay, they doing a little too much. But 4 years is kind of what I thought he would get. I knew he wasn't gonna go home. But 3 more years in prison. It would have been nice he only got like 2 years though. I'll keep it real. It would have been nice he could have went home in like a year. Like, oh, we're gonna give you 30 months, and he go home in like a year, but that didn't really happen. But last thing, I had a talk with some people about about pardons yesterday, and I didn't say all of that to have a Trump versus Biden conversation. I know a lot of y'all get y'all panties in a wad over politics. You know what I'm saying? Let me just explain again what I was saying. I have been looking up pardons. I'm not some nigga that don't do no research or pay attention. I've been looking up pardons. And the facts are that President Trump is pardoning people at a record pace for his first 9 months in office. Obviously, he pardoned everybody that rushed the Capitol, pardoned all them people, hundreds of people. He's pardoning a lot of white collar crimes, people that defrauded people that let's just say I did a Ponzi scheme and I took all your retirement money and all this kind of stuff. Those people as well. What happens is those people get rich, they get caught, they get like 10 years in prison, and they have to pay all of this restitution back to their people, millions of dollars. And when you pardon somebody, you can get rid of their restitution. So if I'm one of the people that you took money from on a Ponzi scheme, Trump has been pardoning people, removing their jail time, but also removing their restitution. And they're saying, based on the research, that this has been happening at record levels. Already in 9 months, $1.3 billion have been pardoned in restitution. These are the facts. You just look it up. You can look it up. So I know Trump, I know Biden and Obama and Clinton and everybody else pardons people. This is not an argument on who pardons people. The thing is, there's a difference. You can pardon people, you can commute sentences and stuff like that. When you commute sentences, it doesn't get rid of their restitution. And Biden did a lot of commuting. He got people out of jail. He didn't necessarily get rid of their fees and their restitution. Trump, I'm not saying he didn't do it at all, but I'm saying Trump is doing it way more. And when you look at those people, which I have, a lot of those people are MAGA. A lot of those people are Trump supporters. A lot of those people donated to his thing. And had those people, what they're doing is they're paying thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to Trump, writing Trump a letter, and he's wiping away their debt. And the money is being put into MAGA, his campaign, whatever the case. I don't know. I'm not going to say his pockets per se, like he's just lining up all his pockets, but it's definitely going to anything that he wanted to go towards. So people have been kind of like paying their way to get out of jail. Why is that important? Because Diddy still has his money. He still got his money. So technically, I know he's not a big Trump supporter. He had a lot of things to say about Trump, but that don't really matter. He actually has money that he could do the same thing. He could write a letter to Trump, pay about $4 or $5 million to Trump, and in 6-7 months get pardoned. And that's why I said I think the pardon thing is not off the table, honestly, because some lawyers probably like, yo, you still worth about $350 million. Your money ain't gone. It might be, you might want to write a letter to Trump and add some money to it to get pardoned, because that's pretty much what's been happening, bro. So I know a lot of presidents do it. It's just with Trump so far, he has pardoned more people than Biden did in the entire 4 years Biden was in office in the first 9 months. And if you look at the money, he's pardoned way more. He's gotten rid of way more restitution money, $1.3 billion. You look it up. You know what I'm saying? I've already done it. So Diddy. So I wanted to say that because this ain't really about Biden or Trump. I don't give a fuck who you fuck with. My point is, Diddy could do the same thing. He's one of the people that's no different than everybody else. He still got a lot of money. He can actually buy his way out of prison if Trump was willing to accept a pardon and a fee like he's been doing so far. So that was just the only thing I was saying. But I don't really know if he will get pardoned. That's just a long shot still. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, bro. I think it's not off the table that you'll try anything you can to get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a given. That nigga turned into, you know, a Trump supporter in a minute if he can get out of jail. So, I mean, clearly you don't want to sit behind bars and you want to get home to your family. You're going to try every option you can. You're going to write hella letters to senators and all kind of people, try to get stuff overturned, all kind of stuff. You try all of those things. However, what are y'all thoughts, man? 4 years for Diddy. And that's just my thoughts. Chris Unbiased, holla at your boy.